Hi, it's Todd with Prairie Edge Service. I have another option for people that are wanting to use the Tolker or the Vevor 1x30 for knife sharpening operations. And I'll just show you what I think is my solution to the knife guide dilemma that many people face. So here we go. My 1x30 just arrived this week. And one of the things that I should say is that I normally sharpen most of my stuff with a Viel 1x42. But the Vevor, any of the 1x30s that came out like this style were not available at the time when I started that. And this is now a great option. But the problem has always been, how do you turn around and get the guides? And a lot of guide options. We got Paul from Alexandria Knife Sharpening. He's coming up with the latest one where it mounts underneath here and mounts up to a part that goes onto the two shafts here. We've got clamps that clamp in either from magnets or ones where it fits in behind. But a lot of those, they still turn around and have interference issues as far as I'm concerned. Now, one of the things that I always liked about my Viel was my solution to have a guide that I can have as an infinite adjustable and easily have it from my Vils. And I've come up with this solution. So if I turn around and take my guide off my Viel and put it in here, I've got my solution that I can infinitely change the angle and clamp it down and get an adjustment. I just use one of the magnet mounts or magnet type inclinometers, set this as my 0, set this up here, and now I can turn around and set this to any angle that I want, and it stays fixed at that angle. I can pop this in and out of here, and it allows me that I could have multiple angles of these set. I could just drop them in, and away I go. And also gives me the ability that, hey, if I want to put a different type of a texture belt in or something like that, I've got lots of room to do that. How do we turn around and do this? Now, the thing is, this is a DYI solution. And for that DYI solution, I have a piece of flat bar stock here that I've turned around and drilled 2 holes and drilled a tapped hole and put my handle in. And I have a piece of 2-inch aluminum angle iron that I've turned around and done on the inside. So this is definitely a DYI, and I'll just show you what it takes to do it. So the 2 pieces that you need are 2-inch, 1/8 inch by 2-inch aluminum extruded angle iron. And the reason why you want the extruded aluminum is that this stuff here has a true zero issue or zero interference corner. If you try to use steel, it's got a bent up corner, and it causes binding when you're trying to use any of this guide stock to go into here. So that's why I use the aluminum extrusion. And all you need is, it's 2 inches. I did cut this down to make it a little bit shallower. And so cut this down to 1 inch, and I've got the true 2-inch on this side. And the sizes in millimeters, just because it's so much easier to showcase what it is, but basically it's like 2 inches. But 65 millimeters, I do 30 millimeters at this side and 25 by 25, so that's basically an inch to get around the lower bearing, and then 2 1/4-inch holes as pass-throughs for the bolts. We're dealing with 40 millimeters and 63 or 65. So you just make that fit accordingly. For the outside, which is basically going to be the pressing point or the locking mechanism, it's a similar format, but now it is 3/16 inch steel by 2-inch steel bar stock. Same two holes, same rough dimensions. And the biggest thing is that you need to allow a little bit of space here. So this sits up a little bit proud up in here. Now, if you turn around and do this, you want to pre-drill your holes in the bracket, the grinder bracket right here first, because this is hardened steel. This is going to be the hardest part of this whole build, is getting these two holes drilled through. I went through 3 drill bits trying to get through this steel, and you're going to need a drill press. But a drill press and a angle grinder is all that I use to make this. Once you've got those 2 holes drilled, then you turn around and line everything up, and you use those holes to help mark and guide these 2 hole placements. After that, that was it. It was just a matter of finishing, and I used the same type of cap head screw as the rest of the build, so that it's the same tooling size if I need to ever adjust or remove that. But the beautiful part about this is that all my tooling that I used on my Vevors, my handles, and like this is just a 3D printed handle. It's got a quarter 20 hex head in here, and if I need to do an adjustment, all I do is just push this in, rotate it around to the next point, and then pull it out. And that's how it makes the adjustment. So if I want to flip the place where the handle will go when it's locked, that's all it is. So now this one, instead of being up in here, it's now down here. I just 3D printed these, so they're easy to do. Same handle here, and then I just 3D print my guide block. And so this one is what I currently have. I want to turn around and make a new design that I'm going to sort of taper it down a little bit more. So those type of Henkels, the pros that have a slope in, they are still be a problem with this, and I want to redesign that to accommodate. But the beautiful part about this is that now that I have this, and you can see it fits up nicely, if I turn around and get this up and running, I can close my gap as tight as I want. I can even take where it does wear it down, that type of stuff. So it gives me total control as to placement, angle, and placement into the belt that I think no other solution provides. The other thing too that I often like about this is that on my wheels, I have a scissor clamp, and using the Viel scissor clamp, it's the same mechanism. So I can turn around, install the Viel clamp, and in this one, I have a twice as sharp scissor clamp. And the reason why I like the twice as sharp is that the reference is on the inside edge, not the outside edge. The one that comes from the Viel, the clamp is the opposite way. The moving part is on the top, which is securing on the inside, and it's not the true angle reference. So if you have any scissors that have not flat stock on the outside, it's very hard because scissor is always flat on the inside. So that's why I like the twice as sharp. And all I did is I 3D printed this adapter that allows me to drop in a twice as sharp clamp into it. And so now with the same machine, I can use any of my Viel attachments, which means the Viel drill bit adapter could be used. There's another one for doing blades for, what are they, planer blades that you can lock in. That one may not work as good because there is a wheel that you can pull in, and you can't do that. But if there's Other things, if you want to do this, the sliding stock, you can still use that. But primarily I always want is my scissor, my utility scissor. So that's my solution, and why I think that this option here is the best one. And the thing is that it's something, you've got a grinder, all you need is a drill press. You can fabricate this yourself. It's not a huge amount of tooling. There's no expensive machining that needs to be done. It's like literally just an angle grinder and a drill press is all that's needed. Thanks. Hope you find this useful, and we'll catch you in the next video.